office of President of the Board.
Madam Secretary, if I may.
Mr. Bernhardt.
Thank you. For the past 6 years, I have had both the honor and privilege of serving as a board officer. The first as vice president and the next 5 as board president. Just from a personal level, I can say 2 weddings and 4 grandchildren ago, I started this process. But during that time, I've been frequently confronted with the comment that, this is a thankless task, and I correct those who make that statement, for I assure them that on many levels, that is not the case. Just merely having the opportunity to try to improve the wonderful community in which we live is something which all by itself is rewarding enough. But the truth is that most of the people you encounter are extraordinarily gracious and complimentary of all the work that we do, and that's greatly appreciated. Plus, in addition to that, we get the opportunity to work with such a highly talented, skilled, dedicated professional staff on a regular basis, which starts with our manager, Ernie McNeely, who in my humble opinion is second to none. And then as an attorney, to get to work with a lawyer who's not here this evening, who I consider the finest municipal lawyer in our state, Gil High. And this list actually goes on. And from a personal perspective, having had the opportunity to serve and deal with the chiefs and the presidents of our various fire companies on a regular basis, those individuals who I consider real heroes. And this is an endless list of opportunities. But in addition to that, there is the unique experience of working closely with civic-minded individuals, such as my colleagues on the board, who share a common denominator of trying to do the best for their community. The fact is, giving the talent who sits to my left and to my right, and I don't mean that in a political sense, but literally, any one of them would have the capabilities of taking the helm of the chair of this board and do an extraordinarily admirable job. But this evening, I'd like to take the opportunity to note just one of them and hopefully see that this individual becomes the next presiding officer of our Board of Commissioners. This is a gentleman that when he speaks, we all listen. We have learned that his comments are based upon research and consideration, which frequently brings to light certain considerations that some of us, at least myself, may not have thought about before. When he goes on to express a view, it is always thoughtful, it is always respectful, and some might even say occasionally professorial. This is an individual who understands that as a member of the board, we set policy. And then indeed it is for us to turn to that professional staff that I referenced to implement those goals and to allow that process to be guided by our township manager and our department heads. This is an individual who recognizes that as a municipality, we are a governmental entity with jurisdictional boundaries defined by the municipal planning code, the first-class township code, our own township code. And while it is okay to press the edge of that envelope, our primary function remains public safety to our police and our fire department, and that we are dedicated to examining and challenging how each of those can do better as we set out to see also how that we can best assist in that process and making sure that our infrastructure is attended to, our roads, our streets, our bridges, our sanitary sewer system, and our amenities, our parks, our libraries, our pools, to name a few. Those are our primary objectives. This is an individual who recognizes that we have practices and procedures in place, but the mere fact that we've been doing things in a particular manner does not mean that is always the way that they should be done, that they should be subject constantly to challenge and to question to see if we can improve that process and make it better for all of us. This is an individual who understands that although we are elected by a ward, the oath that was just taken here this evening is one to serve as a township as a whole. And that means that when concepts come forth, whether we agree or disagree, or whether they are more pertinent to one section of the township as opposed to another, they all deserve their equal day in court before this board, where it is through that free marketplace of debate that ideas and the best ideas surface. This is an individual who understands that the township, Lower Merion, has been a leader. During the past several years, I've also had the opportunity to serve as president of the Montgomery County Board of Commissioners and the Eastern Pennsylvania Township Commissioner Association, and I cannot tell you the number of times that they turn when there are issues and topics and say, how is it done in Lower Merion? For many of us, we have been the leaders and we are those that set the standard by which others judge themselves. And this is an individual who exemplifies that leadership. It is thus my pleasure, let me correct that. It is my great pleasure to move to nominate for the next president of the Lower Merion Board of Commissioners, Todd Sinai.
Thank
Do
you.
I have a second?
Madam Secretary, I will be brief as always. However, I sit here tonight with honor of nominating my friend, my colleague, and sometimes my spiritual advisor, Scott Sinai. If there's a word to describe him, it's objective. And I say that seriously because Todd and I, which I said Scott first, Todd and I have been friends for the last 4 years. And during that time, there's a lot of times that we are on the same page on a lot of things. But I've called him and have conversations about things, and I would think that we were going down the same road. And his objectivity was always aligned with what is in the best interest of this township and the citizens of this township. And you cannot have, no matter what it is, more respect in anyone who has that type of leadership, whether it's friend, foe, or anyone in between. I would say that, our previous president, Bernheim, has set a level high because the bar is high for the leadership that he has done for this township and that he's continued to do over the 5 years. And I can't think of a better person to nominate to continue that lighted torch of leadership than my friend Todd Sinai. Thank you, Madam Secretary.
Thank you, Mr. Stevenson. Are there any further nominations from the floor? Seeing none, I will close the nominations. Is there any comment from the board before you guys vote on the motion? Mr. Gabbard.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. I just want to take a few minutes to build up upon what my colleagues have just said about Commissioner Sinai. We started serving as commissioner at the same time 4 years ago, and one of the first things we worked on together was looking at ways to curb the excessive residential development that our township was facing. And in brainstorming solutions together, I found Commissioner Sinai to be thoughtful and creative in his approach to problem solving. And over the years, I continue to believe this about him and have certainly seen this as he continues to bring great ideas to our board. But I've learned something more about him. He's open to others' ideas. He's deferential to others who have greater knowledge and experience than he does in a particular area. And he's willing to change his mind when he's convinced that there's a better approach. To me, these are the qualities of a great leader, and I believe the board will be well served with him as president. And he better embody these qualities of an exceptional leader because he's following in the footsteps of one. Commissioner Bernheim has often said that the only power of the president and the board has is to set the agenda. And while that's technically true, it undersells all of the work that he has done on behalf of our township. I've been incredibly fortunate to serve as vice president during these past 2 years, which has given me a little bit of a glimpse into some of the endless work that Commissioner Bernheim does on behalf of our wonderful township. The expression going above and beyond is thrown out a lot, but I've never seen it more true than when talking about what the work that Commissioner Bernheim has done as president of this board. Whether it's meeting with key stakeholders to resolve crises, lending his legal expertise to get us out of sticky situations, or helping negotiate a fair resolution to a development project, he somehow always seems to have the magic touch to help keep Lower Merion a better place. And not only has he been of great service to the residents, the institution, the staff, and others in this township, but he's also silently helped out each and every one of us on this board. He has been an outstanding mentor to me. I am a better commissioner and frankly, a better person for having learned from him. Commissioner Bernheim is a true leader in every sense of the word, and we've seen that yet again here tonight. As always, moving forward, this board has a number of issues and challenges that we need to tackle. To try to paraphrase from one of Commissioner Bernheim's trademark sports analogies, he's teed the ball up, and now it's Commissioner Sinai's turn to knock it out of the park. And he and this board as a whole, I have no doubt we will. We will continue to grow and evolve with Commissioner Bernheim's legacy of presiding over a board where all ideas are considered, where we respect each other regardless of our policy decisions. And because of this, we will continue to make the right decisions for our residents, and Lower Merion will undoubtedly continue to be the greatest municipality in this Commonwealth. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Davern. Mr. Zella?
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Change in leadership is upon us, and Commissioner Sinai will be a very capable and dedicated leader of this Board of Commissioners in Lower Merion Township. I want to take a moment to thank my friend and colleague, Dan Bernheim,